Good evening, I am Marvin Ross in with your VON Major News Package for today, Monday, 19th August 2019. In our lead stories and nationally, Nevis Island administration to further assist affected Four Seasons workers, and NASPA addresses issue of ferry schedule rotation involving MV Mark Twain. Regionally, £20 million Caribbean reparations agreement signed in Dominica. Internationally, 3 killed in Syrian strike on Turkish convoy. And in sporting news, Spurs to retire Tony Parker's number 9 jersey on November 11th, 2019. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this short break.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back and on to our national news segment. The 361 workers of the Four Seasons Resort that have been affected since the hotel's closure continues to receive assistance from the Nevis Island Administration, the NIA. Premier and Finance Minister of Nevis, the Honorable Mark Brantley, in an address on Saturday, 17th August, announced that his administration will be providing some further assistance, that is, some further measure of relief to the affected workers. The aid comes as the 2019-2020, that is the 2020 academic school year, is set to begin.
On June 26, 2019, the Cabinet of the Nevis Island Administration convened to consider whether the government could offer any additional relief to affected Four Seasons workers to assist them with the expected back-to-school expenses. I am pleased to report that after some deliberations and under the guidance of the Ministry of Finance, the Cabinet took the decision to offer each of the affected Four Seasons workers a cash payment of $1,000 to assist in defraying back-to-school expenses for their children.
In his address, Premier Brantley noted that the decision was delayed with the aim to provide the assistance closer to the opening of the new academic school year. This information was also provided by the Finance Minister here at Nevis.
I am therefore pleased to advise that all 361 workers affected by the closure of the Four Seasons who have been receiving the 25% salary from the hotel will be paid $1,000. Checks have been prepared by the Treasury, and I am inviting those workers to come to the Anglican Church Hall in Charlestown at any time between the hours of 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Wednesday, the 21st of August 2019, to collect their checks. Staff from the Ministry of Finance and the Treasury will be on hand to assist you in ensuring that you receive this payment.
That is the Honorable Mark Brantley. Employees are asked to bring along a photo ID, namely driver's license and social security. In addition, persons who are presently overseas can collect their checks at the Treasury Department when they return on island. The 2019-2020 academic school year will begin on Monday, 2nd September 2019. The Four Seasons Resort closed its doors temporarily on June 1st, 2019 to undertake significant renovations. This development also comes following the announcement of the impending closure of the Brownhill Communications BHC Limited on September 3rd, 2019, to which some 138 workers will be affected. And the Nevis Air and Seaport Authority, NASPA, has addressed the issue of ferry schedule rotation involving the MV Mark Twain following criticism from the public on social media platform Facebook. West Agency Limited MV Mark Twain was asked by NASPA to rotate their schedule with immediate effect. Petitions and divisions have voiced their views on the matter, with some calling the move unjust. However, the VON Newsline contacted the General Manager of NASPA, Mr. Oral Brandy, for further clarification on the matter, and he provided this release, which reads in part, and I quote, "Just over a year ago, the MV Carib Queen, operated and managed mainly by Royal Ingi Richards suspended operation due to mechanical problems. Up to the time of Carib Queen suspending operation, they were on an agreed rotating schedule with Mark Twain. As is normally the case when a vessel suspends operation, the ferry schedule would be adjusted to accommodate the general public, which also is often to the benefit of one or more of the remaining operating ferries. Such was the case with the MV Mark Twain and Carib Queen. While out of service, Captain Ingi constantly indicated his intention to recommence operation, which was also known to West Agency Limited, end quote. On June 26, 2019, a meeting was held with all ferry operators and various stakeholders to discuss a number of matters, including schedules. It was made clear at the meeting that upon the return of Captain Ingi with his new vessel MV Patience, both Mark Twain and Patience will revert to the original agreement. According to the release, there was no objection from the two representatives of West Agency Limited present at the meeting. Furthermore, prior to Captain Ingi's recommencement of operation under the name Patience, West Agency Limited was given at least 2 weeks' notice of the pending reversal of their schedule to what it was when the Carib Queen operated. This was communicated by way of letter. Information from NASPA also indicates that West Agency Limited has failed to cooperate or accept any instructions from NASPA on this matter and has defied every order given. The manager at the Charleston port also wrote twice to West Agency seeking their cooperation with the current approved schedule. The request was ignored and West Limited decided to reject any order from the Port Authority. The general manager subsequently spoke to Captain Skeet at length and encouraged him to do what was proper in abiding with the instructions until a meeting could be held to have the problem resolved in an amicable way. This meant meeting with both him and Captain Ingi in an effort to come up with an agreed fixed schedule for each of them. It must be emphasized that while Carib Queen was out of service, Mark Twain operated on a temporary non-rotating schedule, including times previously served by the Carib Queen. And St. Kitts and Nevis's ambassador to Cuba, Her Excellency Mrs. Verna Mills, received a visit from the newly appointed ambassador of Canada to Cuba, His Excellency Mr. Perry John Calderwood, at the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis in Havana. Her Excellency welcomed the ambassador and expressed good wishes to him as he begins his tour of duty in Cuba. Several issues of mutual interest were discussed and included St. Kitts and Nevis-Cuba relations, Canada-Cuba relations, migration issues, and the Venezuelan crisis. The discussions were also aimed at strengthening bilateral relations between the two countries. Ambassador Mills thanked the Canadian government for their recent announcement to offer biometric processing in Bastille later this month. She expressed her hope that this level of cooperation will continue as it facilitates people-to-people exchanges in both countries. Additionally, Ambassador Mills conveyed her appreciation to the Canadian ambassador for his country's leadership on climate change issues. Meantime, Canadian officials will be in the Federation during the week of Monday, August 26th to carry out biometric processing for persons wishing to obtain visas to travel to Canada. That's according to a press release from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in St. Kitts. The release also states that, and I quote, nationals and residents are reminded that nationals from countries in the Americas, including the Caribbean, must provide biometric information, fingerprints, and a photo when applying for a Canadian visa, study, work, or temporary residence permit for permanent residence. Following the introduction of Canada Biometrics Collection as part of its travel security framework, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, through its High Commission in Canada, has been working with the Government of Canada to devise ways to ease the process for nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis. This now means that individuals seeking to obtain a Canadian visa would not have to travel to Barbados or Trinidad to do so. According to the release, the exercise is geared towards the following individuals: nationals of biometric required countries residing in the Federation, nationals and residents who anticipate to travel to Canada, and persons who have already applied either online or by mail for a visa, work or study permit, or for permanent residence. And the first half of a phase 1 of the Bath Village Road Rehabilitation Project was completed on Tuesday, 12th February. Phase 1 is part of a larger project which entails a total of 1,650 feet of road and is expected to cost $450,000. Subsequent to the completion, Minister of Public Works and Physical Planning Harold Davis, the Honorable Spencer Brand, said that he was pleased with the completion. Speaking to this media house on Friday, 16 August, Minister Brand indicated when the next phase of the Bath Rehabilitation Project will commence.
We are working out some logistics on that, discussing some issues with some property owners, and as soon as we have a number of logistic challenges that we had in that area sorted, we will be able to move along with that project.
Is the Honorable Spencer Brand. This is part of a number of road projects to be completed by the administration and includes Brown Hill and Craddock Road. And His Excellency the Governor General Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, GCMG, CVO, QCJP, resumed duties as Governor General after a short absence abroad. During His Excellency's absence, Deputy Governor General for Nevis, Her Honor Mrs. Hailita Liburd, MH, performed the duties of Governor General's deputy. His Excellency on Friday, 2nd August, administered the oaths of office and allegiance to Her Honor at the Government House here on Nevis. The appointment took effect as of Monday, 5th August. In her capacity as acting Governor General, Mrs. Liburd discharged the functions of the office of the Governor General. According to a release from Government House, His Excellency wishes to record his appreciation to the Deputy Governor General for Nevis and to note for the record that this was the first female Governor General's deputy in the history of the Federation. On Wednesday, 15th May 2019, the Owali Pier was commissioned by the Nevis Island Administration and operations at the pier commenced on Monday, 20th May 2019. Since its commissioning, there have been concerns over the rates that are being charged at the port to travelers and boat operators. These misconceptions were cleared by Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley in an interview, who noted that individuals who commute to St. Kitts for work will pay $1 per tax and other travelers will pay $5 and boat operators will pay a $10 berthing fee. But when will the facility be completed? The Honorable Alexis Jeffers, area representative for St. James's, spoke to the VON Newsline in relation to the completion of the work there.
It is our intention to have that facility, if not completed, but at least close to completion by later on in the year. As one would realize at this point in time, it is the slow season and it's perhaps the best time to get going in terms of getting the building there completed. That is the building that would house the various offices and would be more or less the hub of activity in terms of movement of passengers in and out of that facility.
Minister Jeffers noted that finances play a vital role in the completion of the project.
As with anything, finance is always the first thing to consider when you're about to undertake any venture. Yes, we would have invested heavily in the construction of the pier, the purchase of the property itself, and other amenities that came along with that facility to the point where it's at. So we are now at the point where we are looking at the drawings that are before us, or the drawings that is to have the building renovated, and trying to put the necessary financing in place. Some adjustment that would have had to be made in order to accommodate other things that the government would have had to undertake. So that being said, it is still our intention to have the facility near completion, I would say, by the end of this year, in time for the new tourist season.
That is the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Forces vehicular fleet was boosted with the addition of 12 new vehicles from the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan on Thursday, 15th August 2019. The vehicles were handed over to the government of St. Kitts and Nevis by resident ambassador of Taiwan to St. Kitts and Nevis, His Excellency Tom Lee, during a brief ceremony held at the police training school in St. Kitts. While delivering remarks, Ambassador Lee stated that his government remains committed to assisting the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in achieving its goal of becoming the safest small island state in the world. Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Hilroy Brandy, noted that these 12 vehicles will enhance the police force's nationwide response, its traffic management capabilities, and increase its community patrols. Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris, noted that the provisions of adequate resources to law enforcement has been a focus point of the Team Unity administration since 2015. The Taiwanese government has also agreed to provide spare parts for the new vehicles free of cost for a 2-year period. And the police here in Nevis are currently investigating a shooting incident that took place on Thursday, 15th August 2019. A police communique released on Friday evening indicates that they are investigating a report in which persons allegedly entered the premises of Dion Daniel at Paradise Estate. The report noted that it is being alleged that several persons entered Mr. Daniel's yard with what appeared to be firearms. Mr. Daniel, a licensed firearm holder, discharged his weapon a number of times at the persons. This media house contacted Mr. Daniel about the incident, who indicated that he wished not to comment. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. An appeal is being made to anyone who might have any information regarding this incident to contact the Cotton Ground Police Station at 469-5269. And St. Kitts and Nevis returned a national pass rate of 80.3% in the 2019 Caribbean Examination Council Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate. The revelation was made by Deputy Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Sean Richards, as he gave an overview of St. Kitts and Nevis' May-June 2019 CXC examination performance preliminary results at a press conference at the Ocean Terrace in OTI on St. Kitts on Thursday, 15th August 2019. And Patricky Duta of the Nevis International Secondary School is the top performer in St. Kitts and Nevis for the CXC 6-Sec examinations with no criteria applied. Duta achieved the feat by passing 9 subjects with 8 grade 1s and 1 grade 3. And that's it for national news. You can visit our website at www.vaughanradio.com, or you can visit our social media page on Facebook at Vaughan Radio and our YouTube channel also at Vaughan Radio for these and other stories. News from across the region comes up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for 2, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family to swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back and on to our regional news segment. In news out of Dominica, the University of the West Indies, UWI, and the University of Glasgow have signed the first ever agreement for slavery reparations since British emancipation in 1838. The $20 million agreement was signed at the regional headquarters of the UWI in Kingston, Jamaica on July 31st, 2019 by Vice-Chancellor Professor Sir Hilary Beckles and Dr. David Duncan, University of Glasgow's Chief Operating Officer, representing Vice-Chancellor Professor Sir Anton Massachusetts. The terms of agreement call for the University of Glasgow to provide £20 million to fund research to promote development initiatives to be jointly undertaken with the UWI over the next 2 decades. The sum of £20 million was the amount paid to slave owners as reparations by the British government when it abolished slavery in 1834. The agreement represents the first occasion on which a slavery-enriched British or European institution has apologized for its part in slavery and committed funds to facilitate a reparations program. In its instance, the 2 universities have adopted a regional development approach to reparations. The funds will facilitate the operations of a jointly owned and managed institution to be called the Glasgow Caribbean Centre for Development Research. The center will target and promote solutions to Caribbean development problems in areas such as medicine and public health, economics and economic growth, cultural identity, and cultural industries, and other 21st century orientations in Caribbean transformation. And in more news out of Dominica, a multi-sectoral group formed to advance the cause of electoral reform in Dominica has presented its final report. The group, comprising leaders from the Dominican Christian Council (DCC), the Dominica Business Forum Incorporation (DBF Inc., the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union (AWAWU), the Dominican Bar Association (DBA), the Dominican Association of Evangelical Churches (DAEC), and the Dominica Public Service Union (GPSU), has banded together to find ways for Dominica to achieve the necessary electoral reform for the next general election. The group, which first met on Wednesday 31st January 2019, recently released the report in which they revealed their findings and other suggestions to achieve electoral reform. And in news out of Jamaica, a man who purported to be a law enforcement officer was arrested after he was found in possession of a firearm and ammunition on Lindale Avenue, Kingston 20 on Saturday 17th August, the police have reported. The Constant Spring Police said that while conducting operations at about 11:45 p.m., a team went to a sports bar on the road. During a search of patrons, a Ruger 9mm pistol with a magazine containing 8 9mm rounds of ammunition was taken from the man's waistband. He attempted to mislead the police by telling them he was a member of the security forces and a licensed firearm holder. Investigations, however, proved his claim untrue, and he was taken into custody in relation to the incident. His identity is being withheld at this time, pending further investigation, the police said. And finally, in our regional news segment, the Narcotics Police on Saturday 17 August arrested an American visitor at the Sangster International Airport in St. James, Jamaica, after finding cocaine in his luggage. Arrested is 39-year-old Marchesa Lewis of Texas, United States of America. Reports are that Lewis checked in to board a flight in Houston, Texas, when during screening, white substance resembling cocaine was found concealed in a wooden carving inside his luggage. The drug, with an estimated street value of Jamaican $750,000, weighed approximately 1 pound. Lewis was subsequently charged for possession of cocaine, dealing in cocaine, and attempting to export cocaine. And that's it for regional news. International news comes up next as the VON Major News Package continues. Welcome back and onto our international news segment. Syria has condemned a Turkish convoy bound for a town in the rebel-held northern province of Idlib. Russian and Syrian airstrikes are reportedly trying to halt the convoy's advance, raising fears of direct clashes between the countries. Idlib is one of the few areas in Syria not under government control. The BBC's Sebastian Usher reports.
The Turks are saying that what happened essentially was that there were airstrikes on or near the convoy. Now, the Turks have issued a statement saying that 3 civilians were killed, 12 were wounded in this attack, and that Russia has responsibility over this, that it is breaking the agreements that Turkey has made with Russia in order to protect this area and the cooperation between the two countries. This convoy is stalled. It's not moving. It's still in Syria. It hasn't moved back.
And the detective has told a court in Sudan that former President Omar al-Bashir admitted to receiving millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. Mr. Bashir appeared in court today to face corruption charges, which his lawyers say are baseless. He was ousted in April after months of protests, bringing an end to his nearly 30 years in power. In June, prosecutors, that is, said a large hoard of foreign currency had been found in grain sacks at his home. The BBC's Mary Harper reports.
Dressed in white robes and a turban, Mr al-Bashir was kept in a cage in the courtroom. He made no comment during the session. An investigator told the court that Mr al-Bashir had admitted to receiving $90 million in cash from the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman. As well as the corruption indictment, Mr al-Bashir faces charges of incitement and involvement in the killing of demonstrators who protested for months against his rule. His trial will be a test of how serious the country's new authorities are about tackling the legacy of Mr al-Bashir's autocratic 30 years.
And Prime Minister Boris Johnson is ordering urgent action to ensure that children and young people in Britain are protected against measles. The disease can be stopped through 2 doses of the MMR vaccine, but the immunization rates have been falling for a number of reasons. And the UK has lost its measles-free status 3 years after the virus was eliminated in the country. In the first quarter of 2019, there were 231 confirmed cases in the UK. And finally, in our international news segment, a bomb that detonated in Northern Ireland on Monday morning was deliberately designed to lure police into the area to murder them, according to Irish police. The explosion took place just near the border with the Republic of Ireland. Police Service Northern Ireland, PSNI, believes the bomb was a trap designed to lure or kill police officers. The BBC's Chris Page reports.
The security operation began on Saturday near the village of Newton Butler, which is close to the border with the Irish Republic. Police received a warning that a bomb had been left in the area. It's understood they discovered a hoax device last night. When officers carried out follow-up searches this morning, a bomb exploded. It's likely the attack was the work of dissident Republicans who are opposed to the peace process. In the past, they've targeted police by luring them into an area with a fake bomb and planting a real explosive device nearby. Northern Ireland's Deputy Chief Constable, Stephen Martin, has said the attack was reckless and indiscriminate.
And that concludes our international news segment. The latest in sports comes up next.
Center and City Drugstore Nevis, your one-stop shop for all your school supply needs. Get bundle savings on backpack and computer packages, but save 20% off all back-to-school materials and printers. Back-to-school shopping is made easy at TDC Business Center and City Drugstore Nevis. See stores for details.
Welcome back and on to sporting news in NBA. The San Antonio Spurs on Friday announced that they will retire Tony Parker's number 9 jersey on Monday, 11 November, when the Silver and Black host the Memphis Grizzlies. Parker will become the 10th player in Spurs franchise history to have his number raised to the rafters, joining Bruce Bowen, number 12, Tim Duncan, number 21, Sean Elliott, number 32, George Gervin, number 44, Manu Ginobili, number 20, Avery Johnson, number 6, Johnny Moore, 00, David Robinson 50, and James Silas 13. And in cricketing news, Australia batsman Steve Smith hopes to be fit for the 3rd Ashes test after playing no part in the final day of the 2nd test at Lord's with concussion. Smith retired hurt on 80 on Saturday after being hit in the neck by Jofra Archer bouncer, but passed the concussion test and returned to make 92. He will be assessed before the match at Headingley starts on Thursday. And finally, in our sporting news segment, Russia's Daniil Medvedev and American Madison Keys recorded straight-set victories to win the men's and women's Cincinnati Masters titles in Ohio. Medvedev, who defeated world number 1 Novak Djokovic in the semifinals, beat Belgium's David Goffin 7-6, 7-3, 6-4 to win his first ATP Masters 1000 titles. Victory means the 23-year-old will become the world number 5 on Monday. And that's it for sports. The latest weather forecast is next. And your weather forecast for tonight, partly cloudy with a 50% or moderate chance of brief overnight and early morning showers. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a 40% or moderate chance of brief late night showers. Winds are east-northeast with average speeds between 6 to 12 knots or 11 to 22 kilometers per hour, becoming variable in some places overnight. Seas 1 to 1.5 meters or 3 to 5 feet. Sunrise for tomorrow will be at 5 minutes before the 6 o'clock hour. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, 19th August 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Davis Island administration to further assist affected Four Seasons workers, and NASPA addresses issue of ferry schedule rotation involving the MV Mark Twain. Regionally, $20 million Caribbean reparations agreement signed in Dominica. Internationally, 3 killed in Syrian strike on Turkish convoy. And in sports, Spurs to retire Tony Parker's number 9 jersey on November 11th. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Marvin Ross, wishing you a pleasant evening.